Okay, let's see who we are doing next for August reads. Taurus, it's your turn. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're doing blind spots and spotlights and blind spots, 4 cards each, and then we will clarify each. I'm going to use the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms for you. So let's get started. Oh, wait, I guess, duh. Please check the description box for everything you need to know, including where you can go. It's a very comprehensive website. I'm getting your natal chart done. It's free. And you can find out your rising moon and Venus sign. All you need to know is the time you're born. That's very important if you want to know your rising sign. Okay, so let's get started. I only take flippers and jumpers on the shuffle when I'm doing card readings. So let's get started for you. August messages. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. You will notice that I'm doing this type of view. Lots of words for you there. Mother. Okay. My kiddo is Taurus, so that's interesting. Yeah, you've got a lot of words. Elaborate on. Grab a pen and a piece of paper so that you can jot these down. A yes is an answer for a question that you have. Sweet. Sweat. Okay. And oh, 2 yeses, double yes. Okay. Okay, there you have it. I like this view because you can zoom in on the cards. You can see the shuffle. A lot of people enjoy doing that. It also makes it so, like, today is my Sunday, for example, and I don't particularly want to have to put on makeup and or be prevented from doing readings. So, sorry, I'm distracted a little because I'm writing down what sign I'm doing. But those are your words. Jot them down. So when I do readings, if I'm not cam ready, usually if I was doing a face view, then, you know, and holding up the cards for you, you couldn't see the spread, you couldn't see the shuffle, you can't see the imagery of the cards and how they relate to one another. And this actually makes it a little bit easier for you. So there we have it. Again, I'm using the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms for you. This is one of my newer decks. I like it. I like it because it has black edges. And the imagery is quite nice. I never usually pick decks if I don't know what they're going to look like. And I like every deck to be loosely based on the Rider-Waite Tarot. Because it gives you the opportunity to interpret cards a little differently. Higher quality cardstock decks are thicker, so it's a little bit more difficult to shuffle them, but it is what it is. We will clarify using the Sun Moon Tarot for the spotlight, and then so it's like super apparent and things that the spotlight is being shone on for you for August. And then on the blind spot side, we're going to use the Deviant Moon Tarot to clarify. So that's kind of what I'm doing for August. Oh my gosh. See, this is the problem with these. So I might as well just shuffle them like other people do. Other people are really good at shuffling like this if they've never learned, or if they have a thicker deck. It's easier to shuffle like this. Not really a fan of shuffling like this because I know how to shuffle cards like normal, but if we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do it. That's just fine. These have been pre-shuffled, but for the benefit of the camera, let's make sure that we're shuffling them additionally so that you can have even more random, so it is meant for you. Okay, that's the last one we're going to do. And again, twist for fairness. I would say, you know, the only thing is with these, you know, decks, I don't necessarily like having to shuffle like this because it makes me feel like it's not a comprehensive enough shuffle, but whatever. Okay, all right. For Taurus, in your spotlight for August, what do we have? Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. In the spotlight for Taurus during August, what do we have? And you can also zoom in to see the cards a lot better. Oh, we did have a flipper here. Great. So, the Empress, that's you. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the Emperor. The funny thing is I'm wearing my glasses too. The Emperor, Aries energy, leadership energy. This is about being decisive in your decision making, like very confident in your decision making, the firm-handed leader, somebody who presides over things from an extremely dominant, confident perspective. They're very, very confident in how they call the shots. And it's because of their ability. They may have mastered a skill, and because of their tenure also. So somebody who's spent a great deal of time, so they have the experience to make the right judgment calls. But also somebody who is very confident because they simply understand the weight of their decisions. They have a great deal of responsibility. Aries energy on this one, if I didn't already say it. There's also father energy here in the Emperor. In the reverse, I would say it would be a tyrannical father figure, but this can also be a very warm father figure, somebody who provides a patriarchal perspective in your life. So somebody who's very disciplined, and provides a disciplined perspective for you and guides you from a disciplined perspective. I know there are a lot of mothers out there who oftentimes are playing both roles, so that could be the case. It doesn't necessarily have to be the literal meaning of a father, but a father figure. What else? So time where you're having to be a leader potentially. Okay, King of Cups, Scorpio energy here. So the King of Cups is a Scorpio energy. However, at the same time, it's also an individual who has confidence, and we can kind of harken back to this in the confident decision making about whether or not they allow access to their emotions or to their heart space, or whether or not they're giving of their heart space. They know when to shut off that emotion and shut off access to their heart space, and when to give freely from their heart space. Somebody who's very discerning when it comes to that. They don't necessarily just give everybody affection. They understand who's deserving and who isn't, and to not just allow everybody access to them in an emotional capacity. Then we have the Magician here. Magician being a Virgo Gemini card. So it's very quick going through these, isn't it? But there's manifestation energy here, and I really hate using that buzzword because I really feel that action is eloquence, not just throwing out the word manifestation and thinking that you want something and then it just comes to fruition. That's not necessarily the case. This is about mastering yourself in order to master the elements. And once you do that, you're able to actually go out into the real world and affect change for yourself. So it's very imperative that you do this in order to be able to confidently call the shots in your life. Also knowing oneself and mastering the art of discipline and mastering how you work with your own energy makes it so that you're confident in working with the energy of the elements. It also helps you to exercise discipline when it comes to your emotions, who you allow in your emotional circle, who you allow within your love energy, right? Timings can be in between. If we're looking at this, there's a spotlight being shown on Aries season as well as Gemini season and Virgo season. Scorpio season as well, if we're looking at timings for spotlight here. What else? August, Taurus, what's in the spotlight for you? Where's the light being shone for you? could be an individual with the name Sean. That's important. We'll clarify these. Lastly, in the spotlight for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, there it is. Sorry, just let me look. Six of Swords. There's something that you had potentially been considering leaving behind or moving away from, that you're coming back to, maybe re-examining something instead of just leaving it in the dust. This is a part of the process of learning about yourself, mastering the self to master the elements. It could have to do with where you allowed somebody access to your heart space in the past. And so you're kind of going back over it to kind of figure out where you should have let somebody in and didn't, or where you let somebody in and shouldn't have. And you're kind of re-evaluating that so that you can make better decisions in the future. Our experiences help us to move forward knowing better, right? So where you would normally be leaving something behind with the Six of Swords in the upright, the spotlight here is on how you need to go back and reevaluate something to better understand it before you can move forward. Okay, let's look at what are your blind spots during August, Taurus? Again, I will clarify, so we'll be able to kind of unpack that a little bit more. But blind spots for you. Let's see what those are. Blind spots for you during August, Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have? I feel like you're being kept in the dark about a lot right now. But let's see. Blind spots. Let me just make sure that I'm recording while I'm shuffling here. Yeah, okay, good. Blind spots. Oh, make me have to pick a card here. You don't want to have to pick one. That could be something that you're dealing with right now, where you don't want to have to pick something or choose one thing over another, but you know that it's a necessary part of being a leader or taking control of your life. Maybe seeking counsel or advice from somebody who's a paternal figure in your life, or want to, but you're trying to go back and reevaluate something first. I think I might have to actually pick a card for you, because nothing's jumping. It's almost as if they need you to not necessarily know what's going to happen. That the unexpected is best for you at this time. But that's not really the nature of the spread that I want to do today for you. So we have to have something come out here eventually. Yeah, I had to pick something. I wasn't going to make you sit here and watch me shuffle for God knows how long. 10 of Wands in the reverse. There's a dropping of responsibilities and burdens here, followed by the 3 of Wands. Your impatience could be a problem. Like you know, there's hasty decisions or hastiness that's a problem here. That's actually caused you problems in the past. Rushing through things, it does not work to your benefit with the 3 of Wands here. the Ten of Wands in the reverse. There are burdens and responsibilities that you've let fall by the wayside that are not working to your benefit right now. Alternatively, you could have been feeling overwhelmed and dropped burdens and responsibilities, but it's not working to your benefit. And you're rushing through something. They're telling you to slow down here with the Three of Wands in the reverse. They're warning you about rushing through things. What else do we have in the blind spot for Taurus? Oh, that's too many. Way too many. You could drop something, actually a literal sense, because you're rushing through something, you might drop something or lose something and not notice because you're not taking your time in some regard. Okay, there we go. Okay, the Tower in the reverse. Yeah, there's something that's unexpected here, something that you're not going to expect. Doesn't necessarily mean it's cataclysmic in nature, but the Tower here, Scorpio energy, during your season timing-wise, because it is in the reverse. That's how I read time. I'm not going to die on the hill and say that, or die on the hill that this is how people read timings with tarot. It's just the way I do. But the Tower in the reverse I would consider to be Taurus season, because it would be Scorpio, the opposite of Scorpio on the zodiac wheel. But there's something here that is unexpected. It's in your blind spot. So of course a Tower would be in your blind spot. You're not going to see it coming. I think there's going to be something about how you react to it that's important. And here we have you, the connectedness with the self. There's an unexpected collapse of a philosophy, belief, or institution. It has to do with tradition. So something that has a great deal of tradition associated with it. It could also be where there's a traditional connection associated with it, but there's unexpected events that have to do with this organization, philosophy, belief system. There's unexpected turn of events so that it's in your blind spot. You don't see it. You don't expect it. It was coming and you can't see it coming during August. The Celestial Weaver is a special card in this deck, the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. It's an extra card, and it's telling you here that this was meant to be. So if anything, if you hold on to your beliefs, the sage wisdom here of the Hierophant, the sage counsel, is that this is meant to be, that this is a part of destiny, this is a part of fate, and rolling with the punches is the best way to go. If you do lose something here, also, it's fate that it happens. But you could be restructuring your belief system at this time. And you may be surprised by something that occurs to you during that time. You weren't really expecting that it was going to turn out that way, but it's meant to be. Let's clarify. I'm going to clarify the spotlight side of things using the Sun Moon Tarot for you. So let's do that now. Looking at the Emperor first. Oh, I dropped a card. Let's see what that was. So the card that dropped was the Four of Swords in the reverse. So there's an emerging from healing. You're healing a relationship with a paternal figure, or you're meditating on it and coming out of meditation on that connection. You could also be contemplating and meditating and coming out of that with an idea about a decision that you need to make, or coming out of meditation and having an epiphany of sorts about leadership energy. where you need to start, you know, living into a leadership type of archetype, right? Okay. Tell us more about this Emperor energy, the leadership energy, the decisive and definitive, confident decision-making energy of that Emperor. Tell us more. Where are you taking the lead? This is way too many. I can't take that many. Where are you taking the lead? Tell us more about the Emperor. In August for Taurus. Be taking the lead on discussing how meditative practices have helped you heal in some regard, or how they benefit people, how they can benefit people. Okay, there we go. The Ten of Pentacles, yeah. There could be a decision making and taking the lead on working towards legacy, working on building wealth in terms of something that helps you gain the freedom of time, the freedom to spend more time on your passions, but also building something that outlasts you on this earthly plane. Something that not only creates monetary wealth, but creates a wealth of energy, creates, like I had said before, the freedom for you to spend time on more valuable things than just working. But you're taking the lead on building this for yourself. What else? Anything else? Oh, yeah. Capricorn energy, Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So if we were looking at timings, you could be seeing this during Cancer season, or just have been finishing up those pieces during Cancer season that we just came out of. You're trying to make it so that you can alleviate. You're trying to make it so that you have enough of a legacy, enough freedom to spend your time how you please, spend your energy how you please, and spend your money how you please, so that you're no longer sitting in a space of feeling a lack of interest in your ambitions, because the Queen of Pentacles is normally ambition and determination, passion, drive towards your career goals, but also somebody who likes luxury and refinery in their home space. So to be able to have the free money and time and energy to no longer feel dissatisfied with your home space, like you never have enough to have a refined, luxurious surroundings. To be able to wear, to dress up, the ability to have lovely linens and eat good food and surround yourself with good food, good company, good music, good wine, good sex, you know what I mean? So you're trying to take the lead on something so that you can build to the Ten of Pentacles and get yourself out of an energy where you feel like, just uninspired to move towards your goals. And certainly have the ability to surround yourself with the things that will help you be inspired to move towards your goals. The King of Cups. Let's see about this this Scorpio energy, and either the need to exercise more discernment when it comes to who you allow access to the heart space, or how you're observing that at this time. We have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. There's an alleviation of anxiety that's been happening for you when it comes to this. Perhaps in the past you had placed a lot of pressure on yourself when it came to allowing people access to your emotional energy, your romantic energy. who you keep in your close inner circle. And like when I say anxiety with that Nine of Swords, it's anxiety, sleepless nights, up at night crying, feeling like you're in the grief bed or the sick bed. But lately, I think that that's been lifting for you. You're feeling a little bit more comfortable. That's the spotlight is shining on that you've potentially made a lot of progress in that arena. You no longer feel the pressure to allow people access to you, just whomever, right? Or anxiety over those decisions, which is good. You shouldn't anyway. You know, and that's the reminder that the King of Cups brings. So, no longer feeling like, you know, who you allow access to your emotional energy is keeping you up at night with worry and just that tension in the head space, right? You don't feel there's conflict there anymore. What else? Oh, that stuck, so we'll take that. It's Three of Swords. Yeah, it could be that in the past, it bit you in the ass to allow people to the heart space because it like to the point of heartbreak. And so you may have been closed off in the past and then felt, you know, like it was a catch-22, a dichotomy, like there was fear that you were going to miss out if you didn't allow people access to you, but you would be shooting yourself in the foot if you did because you experienced heartbreak over that. So there may have been a great deal of fear over allowing people in, but then also a great deal of fear over letting the wrong person in because you had experienced heartbreak in the past. You're attempting to exercise a lot of patience. But I think also they're saying to have a lot of patience in the process and to you know, grant yourself some grace when it comes to it. You don't necessarily need to allow everybody in. The right person will come along at the right time. And I think in the tarot community and the spiritual community, there are a lot of people who say this, and you may have heard it before. The right thing will never pass you up. And that's true for people too. The right people, your people, will never pass you up. They'll never pass you by. You can't miss the bus on that, you know? It won't. Life doesn't allow that to happen, right? So if you had been stressing about that, I think you're kind of coming around to the idea that the people that are meant for you will never pass you by. They'll also never cause you heartbreak. So you may not necessarily be feeling as rushed to choose someone or allow somebody in as you would have previously. With the Magician here, let's see what it is that you are mastering your energy and the energy around you and putting that towards. What is building here for you when it comes to the Magician? What are you building up to? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Something that it seemed as if it was a chance encounter or something that you normally would feel was about luck. This is saying here that you can make your own luck. Fixed signs of Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo on this card here. But it's not necessarily about luck. You know, actually, when we talk about luck, there is a famous quote that says that luck is simply where preparation meets opportunity. And I think that's true here. This is the preparation piece. Mastering the self, mastering your discipline, you know, your self-discipline, and really honing in on your own self-confidence, your ability to, you know, preside over yourself and where your energy is best spent. It's not simply luck, you know. But you know, it is with the Wheel of Fortune where timing may be an element. You know, timing is everything. So as long as you're making the correct preparations, When the wheel of the year moves forward, which this also signifies, when the wheel of the year moves forward, you will eventually see something come to fruition for yourself. It's about the preparation and weight of that timing, right? So there will be a period where the time will be right. And you'll see that you'll be done justice. Libra energy. The time could be Libra season. It could be Libra Scorpio season because we have this card here. And you'll find that you have the freedom to stand on your own 2 feet as a result of that with the Nine of Pentacles. One of the things that you may need to work on with this Justice card here, clarifying the Magician, is that you may need to work on mastering your equilibrium and balance within yourself, balancing all things, moderating all things, but also, are you being fair? Are you being fair to yourself? But are you also being fair to others? And are you doing things from a just perspective? Are you doing things on the up and up? Is everything legal that you're doing, you know? Is everything true? Is everything right and true that you're doing, you know? Because that's a part of the preparation and a part of the self-mastery that you need to exercise in preparation of the correct timing here. As a result of that, you'll see that you will have independence, you will have freedom. Like I was saying before, this is preceding the Ten of Pentacles, right? The Nine of Pentacles signifies being self-reliant and being able to rely on yourself to provide the time, energy, effort, and funds that you need to survive on your own, not needing to rely on anyone else to give that to you. So that's a part of the preparation here for this, you know, optimum timing for things to work out for you. With the Six of Swords, this thing that you need to go back, or that you are going back to reevaluate right now in the spotlight, we have the Two of Swords. You may be going back to a time and reevaluating, or going back to a crossroads. Two of Swords is a crossroads. A time when you were exercising willful ignorance in order to make a decision about picking a direction. This could also, because it is a Six of Swords in the reverse, and Six of Swords in the upright is movement forward away from something that was burning to the ground onto greener pastures. It could be a card signifying stagnancy, especially when paired with the Six of Swords. It's like double stagnancy. Like there's a standstill, a pause for reflection that's required, a pause for contemplation that needs to happen so that you can evaluate what the appropriate direction is to move forward in. An important point about having the blindfold on is to make sure that you're not getting too much external input. Making sure that you're not getting distracted by other people, shutting out distractions so that you can make the right decision, but also making sure that you're not allowing other people to influence your decision making. What else? Okay. With the Six of Pentacles in the reverse, there's a lack of balance and equilibrium here. And that's why you're doing this. This is the only card in the Pentacles that is a Libra card. I think this might be a career reading for you, Taurus, because there is so much air, which is intellect and headspace energy, as well as pentacle stuff here. Seems as if there might be a little bit of contemplative energy that needs to occur around if somebody is giving too much or taking too much, and how you can achieve balance with that. Are you sitting at a crossroads or a fork in the road and trying to pick a direction, but also need to consider where equity needs to occur? Or could it also be that this card is trying to tell you that whatever direction you pick, there must be equity. There must be equality. There must be equal give and take, because where you are right now, as you place a pause button on something, there isn't equity. Somebody's giving too much, somebody's taking too much. And moving forward, whichever direction you pick, you want to make sure that the scales are balanced, that one person isn't always the charity and one person isn't always the charitable. When it comes to time, money, effort, energy, you're giving your energy to something and somebody else isn't, or are you taking, are you, not giving any energy to something? Yeah, because it's a merry-go-round of crazy. It seems as if with this, with the Two of Swords and with that Six of Swords in the reverse, we had the Death card in the reverse and the Hierophant in the reverse. There's a collapse of an organization definitely here. A collapse of an organization that's been long cherished, long traditions held here. It could also be a collapse of a belief system or a philosophy that you've held dear to you for quite some time. But with that collapse comes a repeat of patterns. You might be seeing that this is a pattern that continues to repeat itself, and it's time for you to evaluate. You're going to pause to take reflection and evaluate how you want to move forward based on that, because it's not moving in a direction. It's moving in a direction where you're not. It's made you question your beliefs. This is a merry-go-round of crazy, as I always like to say, with the Death card in the reverse or the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. It's like banging your head against the wall and seeing if it still hurts. And so there's no beginning. There's no ending. It's just the same cycle over and over again, the same vicious cycle. You can see that there are patterns that keep on, it's patternized. There's something that's patternized here in terms of this that you're evaluating. And I think the pattern is that something isn't equitable. There's a great deal of energy being put out there. There's not a lot being returned to you. And it's making you have to, you're questioning your beliefs, because this collapse that happens continues to happen over and over and over again. It's like the consistent and constant collapse of tradition, or shunning tradition, or not shunning tradition, bucking tradition, or somebody saying that they're going to reinvent something that's always been an institution of sorts, a highly structured philosophy or belief system or institution that is now being marred by patternized thinking, a lack of transformation, no movement forward, no progress. And you're sitting at a crossroads evaluating for yourself, because it's not equitable. You're putting in more than it's giving back to you, and you're not transforming it. Like I said, it's a merry-go-round of crazy. It's just a bunch of people sitting around with their heads spinning, spewing pea soup, expecting something to change that isn't. Let's take a look at your blind spot, or the blind spots that we have here. I'm going to clarify these using the Deviant Moon Tarot. We'll start with the Ten of Wands up there. The responsibilities that you're dropping, I still think that this is saying that you're rushing and you might lose something. You might drop something. You might be rushing through somewhere because of your own impatience, or because you feel like you have to hurry up and do something, or hurry up and move through somewhere. And you might actually have a bunch of stuff in your hands and drop something and not notice. But if we're going to go through and clarify each of these individually, we'll just observe that Ten of Wands as if it's a dropping of responsibilities and burdens, unburdening yourself of something. Tell me more. Tell me more about that Ten of Wands in the reverse. So as you see the Queen of Cups in the reverse. Cancer energy on this Queen of Cups in the reverse. Timing-wise, you could be looking at Capricorn season, where somebody dropped a responsibility or somebody dropped the ball on a responsibility. And you may not have noticed because you were busy, rushing through something. You may not have noticed because you weren't paying attention to your intuition. You may not have been paying credence to intuition when it came to it. You could have been unburdening yourself of the feeling that it's almost as if people on this side of things, the Queen of Cups in the reverse is about not feeling that it's important to pay attention to your intuition, or transversely that there's too much stock being put in following one's intuition, and that it's no longer following one's intuition, but observing paranoia within yourself and living into paranoia too much. But as a result, you could be dropping some of those 10 wands on your back, just giving up on something because this is because of the emotionality that's attached to it is getting to be too much. This is an emotionality also to the point of irrationality, losing one's temper, like in a moodiness type of way. Let's see what else. Okay. These littler decks are great for cards popping out. 6 of Cups in the reverse. It's paranoia that a childhood wish isn't going to come true. This is also a wish card, the 9 of Cups and the 6 of Cups in the reverse. It's a double no wish. Wish is not coming true. Somebody giving up on something because they're paranoid that their wish isn't going to come true. Or someone abandoning their responsibilities because their wishes didn't come true. Childhood wishes didn't come true. A very important wish didn't come true. You see the genie? Could have been a wish about a connection from childhood also. This could also be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy that a wish won't come true, and therefore it didn't. But there's an abandonment of responsibility here that's associated with this. Like, fine, if I'm not going to get my way, what I want, what I wish for, if it doesn't come true, well, then what's the point? I'll just drop all my responsibilities. This is also a card of self-worth, by the way. So if you don't think you're worthy of achieving your goals and your wishes and your dreams and the things that you think are important that you've had since childhood, it's almost as if, it's a snake eating its tail. You dropped your responsibilities because you didn't, because you didn't get your way. But, you have to exercise self-worth, and that's not exercising self-worth, dropping your responsibilities. If you're worthy of better, you must observe your responsibilities and burdens. You cannot demand better for yourself if you are not illustrating your worthiness to that you're deserving of better, right? You have to love yourself to show that you're worthy of love. Yeah. And a part of loving yourself is making good on your commitments. We have the Sun here when it comes to the 3 of Wands in the reverse. I also have this one here. I'm just going to talk about this for a second. Leo energy. This is happening obviously during now. The whole reading is for now, but you may have shot from the hip on something because of enthusiasm. You may have been so happy that you got a more immediate wish with the Sun card here, that you shot from the hip on a decision or when taking action on something, and made a hasty decision or acted out of haste, simply because you were enthusiastic and happy or experiencing and expressing joy. It might have went to bite you in the ass, but let's see here. Oh, okay. So this would say to me that you may have overspent on something. You may have been overzealous and spent more than you were supposed to. Four of Cups, or sorry, Four of Pentacles in the reverse. This is excess, spending too much time on something, spending too much energy on something, spending too much money on something because of your enthusiasm, because you were happy that you got your way with something. And so it's out of haste that you did this, and you should have saved. You overspent on something. And this actually is going to result in, it's going to, your connections are going to suffer as a result of that. You know, if you're wasting your time or your energy unnecessarily out of haste because you're enthusiastic or overzealous, you could be missing an opportunity when it comes to your emotional connections. You know, if you get too overzealous or too over enthusiastic and exaggerating that energy too much, and not necessarily protecting your energy or your time or your monetary, overgiving when it comes to those things, then you could be missing the opportunities in your connections with friends, family, and lovers, right? This unexpected thing, I want to say it's a bad thing. A tower in the reverse, you know, the only time I would say is calamity is if the surrounding cards are there to denote that. I think because it's in the, you know, reverse, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could just be something you really, really weren't expecting, especially in the context of the spread that I'm doing here today. But the tower in the reverse, what is that? What is this surprising thing that's occurring, especially since it's in your blind spot? Well, I can't take this many. We do have one that stayed in the reverse. So we have the Page of Swords in reverse. You're not expecting that somebody isn't watching what you're doing. You think that they are. But you're not expecting that you're not being as closely supervised or watched with what you're doing. Somebody isn't paying attention as closely as you think they are. Also, you could be shocked to find out that somebody isn't going to cut you with their tongue in their communication. That could also be the case here. What else? Tell me more about the tower. Tower in reverse. What else for the tower in reverse? We have the Ten of Swords. There's something painful. There's a painful situation that's probably going to be happening that's quite surprising to you. It's more likely more than likely an ending. Could be that somebody's sick and there's an ending coming up. You're very surprised by this. Nobody's seeing it coming, you know, and we, of course, we have the Tower in the reverse, but with the Page of Swords, it was through their inattentiveness that this is happening. It's a painful ending. It's through the fact that they weren't watching what they were doing, or they weren't paying attention to something. Tell me more. Tell me more. What is this ending? It's a painful ending so that new things can begin. Could be also sickness and abandonment, grief, loss, abandonment. in your blind spot? Tell me more. It's very surprising to you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. World in the reverse. Or no, I'm sorry. Six of Swords in the reverse. Aries energy with it. Father figure. Something painful, a father figure. A father figure might need to return somewhere. Father figure might have to go back through their past, a history thing, reevaluate something. It could also be leadership energy. Painful endings for a leader. They have Capricorn underfoot. See the devil there under the foot of the leader, of the emperor. This emperor might be somebody who is telling somebody that they can't move on from something. They have to go back, or they can't leave because this ending is happening. They didn't pay attention. Now something is ending. There's a loss. And the boss, the leader, the father figure is saying, go back over these things. You cannot move forward. It's surprising to you. But it's something that isn't expected. It's very surprising. Through somebody's inattentiveness. There is grief, abandonment, loss, pain and disappointment. And the confident decision maker has to go back to somewhere that they had traveled to, or the confident decision maker, the leader, has to go back and reevaluate something before they can move forward. They have to travel back to the past. Finally, we have you, the Hierophant. This is about tradition, belief, sage advice, wisdom, counsel, and highly structured belief systems, religion. Could also be marriage, but I don't believe so. It's traditions like marriage, and something that is something that's destined, as far as that you are your destiny. So at the end of the day, you return back to yourself. And it was meant to be all along. But let's see what that actually is about. What is the Hierophant about for you, Taurus? Knight of Cups. There's romanticism here. There's something very... Okay, so this could actually be marriage. A fated marriage. A marriage, well, not fated in a bad way, but a destined marriage. Something very romantic. Somebody who comes in to rescue somebody. You know, somebody who, oh, I'll save you. It's a knight in shining armor. Knight of Cups. Pisces energy during Pisces season. The tradition of courting somebody. Your belief in romanticism. Your belief in the energy of being... somebody who takes romantic action, that it's a tradition that should be upheld. Your belief in the institution of marriage and how, you know, the tradition of expressing that in a romantic way must be. With that, we have coming out of a state of depression with the Four of Cups in the reverse. Normally in the upright, the Four of Cups is somebody who's depressed, the lack of interest in all emotional connections, even those from the divine. They don't care that they have wine behind them or wine in their hand. They just don't care. They're looking out over the sea awaiting something that's never going to come, but they don't care, you know. But this is the opposite of that. That's somebody who has grief alleviating for them, depression lifting for them. Do you have a belief that, and a long held belief that religion or spirituality or tradition, or that there's an institution or a structure of some sort where that observes that romanticism and taking romantic, poetic, musical action towards someone helps them to lift their grief, or that that marriage, the institution of marriage, and the romanticism within it can lift somebody's lack of interest or depression. I don't know. You think that marrying somebody or getting engaged to somebody is going to fix this depressed feeling. You think it'll solve their ills. Maybe you think it'll solve your ills, like what ails you is that you aren't married, you want to be married. I don't know, tell me more. Lastly, this is all interpretation, you know. Everybody sees things differently. Yeah, deep personal truth. There's a deep personal truth that somebody has learned after going into the cave of self-discovery of Virgo energy, and it is the truth. The truth is that somebody wants to go in and rescue somebody and marry them. Remember how I said it would be marriage, but only when we have certain cards with it? The Knight of Cups can be one of them. I think it's courting somebody to marry them. That Knight of Cups with the Hierophant. You believe in the institution of marriage. You believe in the structure of a marriage. You believe in the philosophy of it. You know that if the right person and the right connection, if taking action towards that is a part of your belief system. It's something that you've personally connected with yourself and put everything, all distractions aside, and understand that it's a part of your personal truth, but it is also the truth. It's a tradition that cannot, no matter what else collapses around you, it is what remains, and it's destined. It's destined. The truth is it's destined. Interesting. Okay, all right. Let's stop doing this whole thing. You know, some of these are getting, I kind of feel like it's a little like vague, like, you know, it's hard to articulate. Maybe it's supposed to be hard to articulate because you're not necessarily, this is your blind spot, right? So maybe you're not supposed to necessarily know some of this. It's supposed to be a surprise. Like, this is supposed to be a surprise because you can't prevent it. But then there's also this, right? Let's get some Rebel deck oracle advice for you, and then we'll get you some affirmations and finish up the reading. Yeah, I wanted that to work out better. I wanted that to work out better. That's what you're saying about this. You wanted this thing to work out better. It's very surprising for you. You wanted it to work out better. You can't control it. You can't control the ending there. All you can do, you can't control the ending. All you can do is reevaluate so that you can learn from it and move forward and make better decisions in the future. Okay, let's get Taurus some advice. What kind of advice can we give Taurus? I knew I was going to get that one. You're the shit. Don't forget it. Okay, all right, and what is the affirmation that you can use to get you through August? This could all just be August energy, you know? Could all just be August. Okay, Taurus, what's your affirmation for the month? Tell me about your affirmation for the month. You got 3. I am in love. You're in love. You know this is your truth. I am healthy. And I am appreciated. you got to tell yourself this one to believe it, I think, because that was in the reverse. Okay, Taurus, that's what I have for you for August. If this made sense or you were able to relate to it in any regard, give us the thumbs up. We'll see you when we see you next, okay? Thank you. Bye.